ain't nothing like a funky beat.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish at the Disco, your favorite premiere album reviewing podcast. Of course, this week we've got my pick, which was the 2018 album by band Rivers of Nihil, or Owls Know My Name. If you know this album, it needs no introduction. Unlike the people that I'm doing this album review with, like Tanichi.
Oh my god, that's me.
True. And of course the other person with a T as the first letter of their name, Tanner.
That's right, here I am. But will I still be here in the end? That sound like a fucking lyric from this band.
If it wasn't a lyric, you fooled me. You got this guy dying over here. That's ridiculous. You just killed him.
That's my goal every episode, to say something funny enough to just completely destroy any flow we have at the beginning of every review.
Hell yeah. You accomplish it more often than I'd like you to. Anyways, as I mentioned, this is the album where Owls Know My Name. This is easily Rivers of Nihil's most popular album. This is the one that really got them their, initial fame. They had two previous albums. This is the third full-length one they published. I also say one thing they do with their albums too, at least the first four they did, is they're all based around a season. That's like the theme, I guess, of it. This one was fall, pretty sure. And then we had spring and summer, and then their release after this one was winter. And the Terrestria song, there's always a Terrestria song in all of those albums that I guess is supposed to be like a vibe thing for that season, I guess. I don't know. I don't really see it, to be honest, but it's just something that's there. It's a thing they do. This is the fall album, you get it because the guy's green on the cover.
Green, that doesn't make any sense what you just said, but
no, I associate fall with I'm
orange,
green trees that aren't fall because they're no.
No, that's not correct, actually.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. Yeah.
Maybe they're from they're from Reading, Pennsylvania. I was gonna say if they were from somewhere in the southern hemisphere, then you could say green is for their fall months. But based on what I can tell is the general message behind each of these songs, I can see how you can say it's fall, although I'd say winter would make more sense.
Dude, their next album I've listened to, and it's very much so more winter-coded than this one.
Oh, okay. There's just sleigh bells on every album.
Yeah, exactly. They literally just have a Christmas song in the middle of it. It's beautiful.
That thing says fall like a saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
True. That is one thing that this band has become very known for. I'm pretty sure this album is the first one they utilize saxophone. What the saxophonist is not like a main part of their band. It is just some friend of the band, and he has just, shown up on some of their songs. He's not on of course, because he's not a member. He's not on all their tours and stuff. And some people think that sax is overdone now in metal, or they don't think it fits very well. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the saxophone. I think it adds a lot to these songs. It's a great layer to everything. It gives everything a very jazzy feel with the songs that use it. And I fuck with jazz. I like me some jazz, so I think it's nothing but a positive.
I kind of get what people are saying with it being overdone, just because the purpose of it really is to serve as a juxtaposition for the rest of the music. It's supposed to be kind of jarring and really attention grabbing. So I can understand why some people would find that a bit overbearing.
It's that, but it's also just because this, I'm not going to say they popularized using saxophone in metal, because they certainly did. There's definitely bands that did it much more before them, but I'm not going to also say that they weren't pretty early into using it. And it has become much more of a trope, I guess, in more recent metal, or so I hear. I haven't listened to much more recent metal, but I've heard that it's become more of a player in the game, and people are a little saxophoned out because of that. The novelty is lost, which, it's fine. I still think it's a cool instrument at the end of the day, even with the novelty of it going away. It just has to be utilized properly. I don't want to keep talking about their album that's after this one. I think that album does the saxophone worse than this one by a decent amount. It feels like they or especially some of their their most recent album and some of their more recent singles. I think the saxophone just feels like they're doing it just to have a saxophone. It doesn't feel like it like fits in, whereas this album I feel like it fits in really fucking well, especially in like the Silent Life, the first song, where like you can hear the saxophone in the background for most of the song, but they don't bring attention to it until that first solo, and then they use it to make such an interesting sound. Like I talked about like discordant, like a discordant sound with like the violin in the Urn album review, and they do that really well in the Silent Life too. And it's just like it's a unique way of using the sax that doesn't feel like it's just like forced an instrument. It feels like it's part of like this fleshed out song, which is cool. And then of course like in Subtle Things, they use it again to a great effect with that really long atmospheric solo that I think fits really well with the theme of like all of these like context switches. And then they again use it in the title track, which maybe is the best use of it too. That one feels, it's just so good. It's like a slower, like psychedelic feeling kind of track, and it just it all just meshes very cohesively. Anyways, this is a long preamble before I even pass it off to anybody, I guess. I fuck with this album a lot. Big fan. Tanner, I'm curious about your general thoughts of this album.
Dude, I was also going to say the saxophone guy looks a lot like friend of the show Lucas.
I could kind of see it if he didn't have as much facial hair.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, which one had not as much facial hair?
Lucas, like the saxophonist guy has less facial hair.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I really enjoyed this album as well. I've been working the last probably year and a half on getting more into death metal, and so these guys feel like a step towards that. Yeah, I really enjoyed pretty much all of their songs. The only one I wasn't super into was Terrestria III, and that's just because, like, I don't know if I should even really count that one. It, like you said, it's just kind of meant to be a vibe, and it kind of just feels like a transition song from the first half to the second half of the album, and not really even supposed to be like treated as its own self-contained entity, you know?
I get that. I actually do have a fun fact about that. Yeah, so the transition between the end of Subtle Change into Terrestria III is a little strange. I don't know if you guys agree with that. At least on like YouTube Music, the transition is like a little abrupt feeling. That's because the end of Subtle Change is the end of the B track, and then Terrestria III goes on to the start of the C track. So if you're listening to this physically, it probably makes more sense. This is just like a consequence of it being like digitally released, you know. Anyways, go on.
That was kind of the end of my stuff. I really liked it overall.
Huge. Tanichi, you knew about this album prior to me even picking it, because I was like, hey, want to listen to the album I'm going to pick next? And it sounds like you have been pretty attached to it. What are your overall thoughts? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm spoiling the magic, but I didn't know this album until you showed it to me. It was actually, we were in a call together and you were like, hey, would you like to listen to my next pick? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll listen to your next pick. I love music. And then like I was in the middle of a game and it blew me the fuck away. Like I was in a Counter-Strike game listening to the album more than I was focusing on the Counter-Strike game. And if you know anything about me, that's a little bit, that's absurd.
You were a chatty little Kathy when we were first listening to this. It was like basically every single song had you talking about something.
Yeah, dude, we could break this out track by track as well. Like, that's how much I like this album. It's not even just the album. It's what they did with it, how they presented it. It's even how they talked about it afterwards that blew me the fuck away. Like, these guys put I want to say criminal level of dedication into this, like into the artwork, into why the artwork is the artwork. And like you said, there's a track in every one that links to the next track. So they had ideas of the future and how they wanted to structure this 4-album fucking thing. And I think that overall idea is fucking incredible. Shit, if I'm gonna give just a basic fucking summary, yeah, I had something to say about every single one of them. The one standout thing that really blew me away was just the guitarist and on my second listen as well, it was the drummer as well. These guys get no break. and it seems like they're fine with it. Like on several of the solos, it even sounds like they can't help themselves. They need to play just that little bit more. And I think it really helps helps with the overall presentation of the lyrics and the tone, because he presents some of the screaming shit. Like, the overall tone is like this tree person is like watching the end, like watching the world end, and he's screaming and singing it like he is watching it. And I got that, and I just thought that was fucking incredible. To be an asshole, when I listened to this with my friend, she said there was a Deftones reference with the sax in the first song, and I don't hear it.
I listened to this album maybe 50 times in the last 2 days, and yeah, I don't think I saw any Deftones references.
Apparently to her, the saxophone, if you sung the saxophone as he ends his solo at 350, it sounds like Deftones. And I remember replying to this, "You're fucking retarded," and then that was it.
That's really funny. So if you sing this part that's an instrument, it sounds like this other random band.
Yeah, whatever. You're reaching. Stop. How about we just call it what it is? The fucking... He went off. Like, it's good. Oh, I dropped my plate. Sorry.
This is so sad.
Audio issues, rats. Editor, edit that out.
I'm keeping it in. I think it's funny.
Whatever.
Editor, add wolf job.
On it.
Should we break it down track by track?
Not before I give my overall thoughts, because I haven't already spoken enough. I am going to attempt to find, I guess, songs that maybe exemplify a point that I'm going to make, and not just say all of my overall thoughts right now, because I've got a lot of them. But I guess some initial ones here. I have kind of gotten old of blast beats, I would say. Controversial opinion. A lot of the metal I've been listening to, like, I keep bringing this one up, but it's just a metal album I like a lot. A lot of other songs from Nihil with the Scars as well. And blast beats are used so heavily in it. Like, basically, there's just blast beats going on the entire fucking song. And it's gotten a little old, to be honest. And one thing I like about this album is, of course, it uses blast beats, as I'm sure you guys are very aware, a lot of blast beats, but they still are very, like, they're not just like a constant oppressive sound, like in some other albums. This one, it's much more experimentative. They've got more fills in it too that like break it up, and it's not like every song is just fucking blast beats the entire time. Most of the time there is a lot more interesting things going on from the percussion side, and I appreciate that a lot. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. I was getting a little old of blast beats, and like this still uses blast beats, but it's like a totally acceptable amount for me, which I think is nice. And as Tanichi alluded before, the whole like the idea behind this album that,
wait, before you move on, I like the blast beats in this fucking album as well. I didn't know what they were until you mentioned it, and I googled it, and now I know what it is. You know what I mean? I could put a name to that thing.
The sound.
Yeah, and I think it's done really well in this album. I think in metal, that's like, I don't know how to describe it. That's like one of those hit or miss things. Like, you gotta get it right. And I think every time they did it, they got it right, which is impressive as fuck.
I agree. Even with songs like, what is it, Old Nothing?
Yes.
Where it's just like super heavy, fast blast beats. They're still not like obsessive over it. Like, they have restraint with it and see it more as a tool rather than just like a filling sound, which I can really appreciate. And that's a big plus for me.
You said you wanted to link it to a song, but the beginning of A Silent Night, I don't know if you can necessarily do that blast beat or if it would be called the same thing on a guitar, but the guitar does it at first, and then the drummer follows it with a blast beat at the beginning. And I thought that, I always think when they do that shit, it sounds really cool when they mix and match the instruments like that. I think that shit's really cool. Which is why I think they do it well, because they do it all the fucking time. Which again, this guitarist and this drummer never get a fucking break. So I think that, I don't know, I'm just so impressed with this fucking album.
I agree. One of my overall thoughts, of course, was also that I think the two standout instruments for me are definitely the guitar and the drummer. I think the bassist does an incredible job too. He has some really interesting parts. He adds a lot to other sections where it's not much of like a part in it, but he still is just doing a great job overall. And of course, the bassist is also the screamer, and I think the fucking screams of some are sweet, especially because a lot of the time they do like a back and forth thing with the screams and the growls, and I think that shit's fucking awesome. Big fan.
The two in the title track are so fucking good.
True, yeah. I love that shit. Everyone in the title track's going fucking crazy in that. They had like whole band harmonies with the cleans in the bridges, which is cool as fucking, very unique for this album. But yeah, going again back to what Tanichi had brought up previously, the general idea behind this album, as Rivers of Nihil described, is that it is basically a man is kept alive by the earth to witness the death of it. Why? We don't know, but that's the perspective here, and that's what the story is attempting to portray throughout its lyrics and the runtime. Of course, it's a metal album, so you can infer your own things. Most of the time when I was trying to pick this apart prior to looking up maybe what the actual meaning is from the band, I was mostly just thinking it's some guy that like fucked up really bad in his life and he just sees himself withering away slowly and just seeing himself decaying over time. And I think that's still a pretty valid interpretation of it as well. There's a lot of avenues you can take, which I think is very cool. Big fan.
On my first listen, I think it's maybe just because I'm fucking an asshole, I was like, oh, this guy's a drug addict, detailing his addiction to like fucking heroin.
Owls is slang for heroin.
Yeah,
Is
you know
it?
what I... Yes.
No.
Just making shit up.
I was going to say...
Fuck, that would have been really good to the point if we kept going with that.
I didn't look up, like, what they said their, like, official thing was or whatever, and so, like, what I kind of interpreted as being, like, the whole thing was a guy dying of dementia, and, like, his body is sort of, starting to wither away, and
I
then,
can
like,
see that as well.
His memories of, like, the past and the present are just kind of starting to get all mixed up, and even, like, towards the last couple of songs, he's even starting to see the real life in front of him, and also this like really bleak image of the afterlife starting to overlap, and he can't tell what's real and what isn't, which isn't that different conceptually from what the real thing is. So that's pretty interesting there.
We were all in a similar track. I do like that interpretation, though. It actually fits pretty well with the themes of what like Subtle Change is doing. With the guy, it feels like he's like rotting away, and he's just like so confused sounding, like some real bad shit's going on for him.
Right.
I do think the whole name of the album is pretty funny. It's like, where albums know my name, and of course, what do owls say? Who? I think that's funny. It's like a little joke, but I think it's a cool touch if you pick up on it.
I was actually going to mention that and wonder if that was an intentional pun.
Supposedly it is. If it's not, then, they pulled it off anyways. Love that shit. Also, just saying, like, where owls know my name, or, like, I'm gonna go to a place where only owls know my name, that quote's hard as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. Big fan of saying that. I'm gonna be really depressed one day, and I'm gonna tell you guys that I'm gonna go where only owls know my name, and you'll get the idea. I'm killing myself.
I'm gonna tell you you're a fucking dork.
Yeah,
Kill yourself.
You nerd. It'll just reinforce my me killing myself.
I want to add in real quick onto our discussion of the instruments. Honestly, the only instrument that really stood out to me was the drums. Most of the other guys I've I've heard bands that have done like really fast, really technical stuff like this, I've heard Through the Fire and the Flames before, so the guitarist, he's good, but it's not something that I'm like, man, I've never seen some shit like this before. But the drummer, I was like, okay, this guy definitely has some special sauce.
Yeah. On my second listen as well, I was like, well, how did I not notice this drummer on crack? Losing his fucking mind. I don't know how I think maybe upon that, I think I've always been super impressed with fast technical guitars, but just fucking Christ. Yeah, I agree. The drummer fucking loses his mind. Well, which one was it? I think it was either Hollow? Yes, and Hollow. I fucking love what he's doing in Hollow. I love what he's doing in Hollow. In that like 2 minute 2:13 part. I love it so much. He's losing his fucking, like, his arms hurt. When we heard that part live, I remember I said, this reminds me of like that deep want. I still want to hear someone do that gore shit song. on drums. It's so fucking good, yeah.
Yeah, he's really fast. Like, everyone in this band, they're all incredibly technical. This is, shocker, a technical death metal album. Who could have fucking guessed, with prog elements. And yeah, everyone plays out their damn mind. I agree. The drummer is probably the highlight. The saxophonist, of course, we didn't bring him up outside of just, you know, the dedicated saxophone talking about section. But yeah, the saxophonist does a great job too. I haven't listened to enough saxophone to really tell like a bad saxophone from a good saxophone, but like he sounded fucking good to me. I think he added a lot to the album. And they didn't overplay it too. It was only on like 3 tracks out of 7 or out of 10. You know, that's a pretty good hit rate. And all the ones he was on, he had great impact. So, you know, overall, I think it all worked well. One thing we haven't talked about too is just like the vocalist too. I don't think the growler is like anything super crazy. He has a very unique voice for me. And one thing I like too is that most with like a lot of growling I've heard, I can't understand a word they're fucking saying. But like this guy, I can like genuinely on my first listen, I could understand what the guy was saying and like piece together kind of like a picture in my head of what he was talking about. And that's pretty rare for metal for me, and I fuck with that a lot. And then, of course, I think the Screamer does a great job, too. I don't think either performances are, like, particularly, like, these guys are, like, incredible at their job. They're good at their job. I know they're not, like, standouts for me, but I just think they're solid pieces, and they add very well to it, you know? I think even if the vocalists were kind of dog shit, I still love this album just because the instrumentals are insane. But, yeah, I think the vocalists just add to it, and it's just another layer we haven't talked about, but I think they do a fantastic job.
I think one of the problems with like evaluating especially growl vocals is to even have a metal, like being good at growling is a pretty rare skill. Mm-hmm. However, to have a metal band in the first place, you need someone who is good at growling. And so it's like, yeah, they're this very small pool of people with a special skill, but every band in this genre has one of them because they need them to even exist. So you can't, it's hard to like compare them against each other because you're already drawing from the cream of the crop to even listen to anything.
Tanner, what's your opinion on metal bands that do not have that? They just have cleans. Are they metal, yes or no?
I mean, my favorite genre of metal is power metal, and that's almost always exclusively clean. So yes, that's still metal.
Okay, I'm just, you know, this is just a sanity check here, because I definitely agree too. There's a lot of people in the metal community that are like, if it's only cleans, then it's not fucking metal, it's a rock. And those people are manic, fuck you,
yeah,
if you think that.
I've never heard that shit before, that's crazy.
Dislike the video. Anyways, I guess it's time to move on to piece by piece. I do think moving forward it could be fun to, instead of doing like favorite and least favorite, we could do like standout songs for us. Whether it's, you know, like a song that like stands out above the rest is like our favorite, for example, you know, so it like combines that, but it also gives us a moment to talk about other songs too that aren't like necessarily fitting into that like favorite or least favorite. I don't want to do it on this song because I want to talk about every single fucking song, but you know, moving forward, I think it could be something good that we could do. Anyways, Cancer/Moonspeak. I think this is a great intro to the album. It's obviously very subtle. It's mostly just kind of setting up what's going to happen. There's a lot of like talking in the background behind the actual vocalist, which is kind of, from my perspective, talking about, you know, the themes that are going to be happening to, like depression in the hospital and shit, which I think is cool. And then, of course, I think the ramp up into the silent life is badass.
Oopsie. I saw the fucking track length and didn't give a shit about it. I skipped to the end to hear the transition, or I skipped it completely.
Yeah, I didn't bother rating this one either. It was a whatever intro track.
I think it just, I mean, yeah, no, it's an intro track, so I'm not like crazy about it either. But also, I still think it's just, like most intro tracks, I think it does a good job just introducing the album and the general vibe of it. And, you know, it does that. And of course, the transition into the silent life is fucking awesome. I think probably The Silent Life is my favorite song of the album. Maybe controversial opinion. I think it's like The Silent Life, Subtle Change, and Where Owls Know My Name are like the big three that I see get referenced most of the time as favorites. Silent Life for me is easily my favorite. And the transition too, like it makes me want to listen to the first song more often instead of just like skipping it, just because I like the transition so much. If you don't listen to the first one, the Silent Life sounds so fucking aggressive. It's just like the first second, it's already just hard ass guitar riffs going on with like crazy drum fills in the background. But yeah, this song's fucking awesome. This song is everything I want from a metal song. It's got really fast, aggressive, technical instrumentation. It's got a cool ass saxophone solo. It's got, like I said before, it's got that cool section where it's kind of like the breakdown with the fucking drums and the car going crazy, and they got the guy on the saxophone just going ridiculous on it too. It's got everything for me. Big fan of this song. I've got absolutely no qualms with it.
Yeah, I fucking agree. Surprise, surprise. I think this might be my favorite sax appearance or solo out of the... You said it was 3? I thought it was like 4.
I think it's just 3. I guess we'll see if there's 4 by the time we get done talking about them all.
Yes. Well, then this is my favorite appearance of the sax, dude. Oh my god. The solo is really good. I don't get the Deftones thing, but just... I even said this, the way it ends to the transition of the guitar sounds fucking incredible too. I feel like he does a good job transitioning with his sax and playing around with it, if that makes sense, because it doesn't sound like his use of the sax doesn't sound like how I would hear it in jazz, if that makes sense. So I think the way he's playing the fucking sax here is also incredible. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, he could have, like, if he would have done it with a different fucking instrument, like metal bands usually do, where they throw some random bullshit in there, then it might not be that impressive. But because it was a sax, it was impressive because of how he's playing it.
I do think it's really funny. This is somewhat of a non sequitur. In the music video of this, the way they introduce the saxophonist is fucking hilarious. It's just like everyone on stage is like it's a metal band. They're all going crazy doing their metal band thing. And then when the saxophone solo starts, they just like have like a low angle shot, and then he just like walks out from behind somebody, and I think it's fucking hilarious. Every time I watch that video, I just see the fucking guy in like a full suit with all these guys just, they're dressed like metalheads. It's just so funny to me. I love it.
Cause that's his style. That's the sax style. Suit, pressed, you looking good. You know what I mean? It's low. The place smells like smoke. There's gin, people hugging. It's not a metal atmosphere. But they fit him in perfectly.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys have said here. This is a great intro song. It might be my favorite. I have my 2 highest rated songs were this one and then A Home, and I probably could just on any given day go back and forth. I like how this one, how many different tempos it has, because it has that very fast, but then it also does the classic metal like chugging guitar sound where it's like ding 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 ding, And yeah, I thought this one was interesting to listen to, like trying to pay attention to the lyrics and trying to put it away. And what I got out of it was, this is a guy who feels like he's at like the end of his life, and he feels like he's completely wasted it and has been like completely unnoticed by the world around him or something, which I think is something most guys can relate to at one point or another.
Oh, absolutely. I got basically the exact same from this song, and I think it works very well for that. I think this song stands on its own without even needing the context of the story, which is great. Also, they say fucking erroneously like 3 times. They got erroneously in there in the lyrics. Like, that shit's crazy, man.
Yeah, you'll see life erroneously.
Yeah, I love that shit. They just had fun writing these songs, I can tell they just have fun writing this shit. But this is also, I talked about it before, like the back and forth thing, the screaming and the growls, and this song is my favorite example of that too. Like that section before they go into like the breakdown is so fucking cool, man, where they got the guy screaming and then they have the guy doing like the callback with the growls. Fantastic work, fantastic, big fan. Anyways, A Home, this one, the drummer, I think, is the big selling feature for me on this one. He's just going fucking ballistic on them, especially at the start. It's just ridiculous, and the bass stands out a lot for me too. The bass is fucking ridiculous too. You just have that constant beat going in the background. Big fan. This one is another another really good, fun, technical one. I think the lyrics are interesting too. I don't know what the fuck's going on with like the sing for me shit. I haven't really pieced together exactly what they're trying to say with that, but it's interesting. The solo near the end is sweet. Big fan of that. And yeah, they've got a really cool guitar section at the bridge as well. This is just a really, really solid track for me.
I like this one. It was really good. I didn't really have a lot to say about it. other than, like, I don't know how to describe, like, I think this has the first part that I have an issue with, and it's that, like, there's almost no, like, most of these songs have a break where it's like, here's the instruments. This one doesn't have a break to it, and I would have liked a break because it's 5 minutes and it's a lot, but it's good. But I was fatigued at the end of it.
That's fair enough. 2 songs in, was this a consistent thing for you when you're listening to the album, or is it just
no,
like,
it was just on this one.
Interesting.
It was just on this one.
Yeah, as previously stated, this is also one of my favorite songs on the album. I think it's awesome. Something we haven't mentioned so far, they have that cool part sort of in the middle where they throw in, I want to call it the psychedelic thing for the guitar. I don't know what the official name will be, but they throw some kind of, they're called pedals, but I don't know what the name of it is, where you can like click a thing and it changes the sound of the guitar.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like that kind of
exactly.
noise.
Yeah, it gives it this really. It makes it feel like when it's all fast and stuff, you're like right here, and then it goes to that noise, and it's like you're zooming out, you know?
Another thing they did on here was like, they had like at 1:30, it was like a boom, boom, and in my notes, I had like that sound in particular fucked my ears up every time I heard it. Like, I don't know why, but throughout this song, like, I can hear that and it resonates. Like, I can feel it vibrating. And I was like, that sounds really fucking cool. And then they didn't do it again for the rest of the album.
Also, with this, starting with this song and continuing for a couple of the other ones on the album, there are like phrases that they'll use in the lyrics, and it just tickles my brain somewhere. I'm like, I recognize this from somewhere, but like, I just can't figure it out. I don't know if they're like quoting Bible verses, or I think it's something from like books, and there's some kind of connection there, but I can't. I want to figure it out on my own instead of like Googling it, but I haven't been able to do it so far.
Good luck in your quest. These guys seem like the type of nerds that would be doing some like book references and shit in their lyrics. Given just like the concept.
Yeah, it's probably old fucking like Lord of the Rings quotes.
That'd be really funny. It's like we're watching the Lord of the Rings on Guapish the movies eventually, and like, oh shit, I know that from Where Else Know My Name.
Mm-hmm. In A Home, he says, "King for a day, but a fool forever." King for a Day is a song. And I think in the song, he says, I'd rather be a king for a day than a fool forever. So I think that's the reference. It's like an old classic song.
Who did it?
I don't know. So fuck. Let's see here. No. I would know.
Are you a
Faith
Beyonce
No
fan?
More. Absolutely.
I'm seeing a lot of, I think these must be like covers of it, so it must be a pretty famous song.
Yeah. It's
Which of these is the first one, though?
Yeah, type shit. You know what I mean? It's
I got
old.
one. Needs to be an older one. I've got one by Green Day.
Fuck me.
It'd be really funny
it's
if
a
they're doing
Green Day reference. It might.
The other ones are like Pierce the Veil.
It might
Pierce
be a
the Veil would be even funnier.
Pierce the Veil and Green Day are really funny, but it might be a Green Day reference that I noticed it from, because I listen to a lot of old Green Day, and I hate listening to the new Green Day.
Presumably, there's some common material that they're all referencing. I don't imagine Rivers of Nihil is referencing Green Day. As funny as that would be.
Dude?
I mean, why not? You see that? You saw that video. You saw their title track is a goofball fucking music video. I absolutely believe they'd throw a Green Day reference in there just so it can fly by your fucking head.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really have a crazy high opinion of Green Day. I remember watching or listening to them a lot in my youth, but like I just assume that it's like one of those bands like Imagine Dragon, like where like they're popular, but like they're not very good.
No, they're definitely.
Oh my
They're
God.
They're much better respected than Imagine Dragons.
Okay,
They're way better
I'll
than
fix
Imagine
that.
Dragons, even
My
now.
bad. My bad.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a really bad opinion.
That's
bad,
really
my bad.
funny.
That's
is
a
what it
really
is.
bad opinion.
Anyways, yeah, banger, big fan. I do think it's funny though. Tanner was talking about like the psychedelic drum thing, or not the drum thing, the guitar thing, and that's totally like a 30-second break in the song. So I don't know what the fuck you're smoking, Tinichi. Anyways, we've got the next one, Old Nothing.
They're singing in the background, and I'm fucking trying to listen to what he's saying.
They're like tears fall forever, you know. Anyways. Yeah, Old Nothing. I'm going to immediately kick this one off with a funny story. So I was playing Final Fantasy XIV with my boy Dylan, as I do, and we had just finished up a raid, and the story section cutscene like right after that, because we were listening to this album while playing, and I had paused it for the raid and just like resumed playing it after we finished it. He was going to this like cutesy cutscene afterwards where everyone's like talking again and they're like seeing the fruits of their labors happen, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start the album again, and I kick off on Old Nothing. It's just immediately, and he just starts fucking dying of laughter because of like the crazy ass dichotomy of like this like cutesy like fun cutscene, and then you just have these insane blast beats and aggressive ass lyrics in the background. Big fan, thought that was hilarious. That's gonna be living rent free in my head for the rest of my life. Anyways, the blast beats are crazy, as I say. They're not like consistently going on throughout the entire song, which I was a big fan of too. The guitar though, there's like a consistent riff going on basically throughout most of the song, and that's just fucking awesome. I think it does a good job like filling in the gaps almost of like what the blast beat is doing. This is a really fast and aggressive song. It feels much more like a by the numbers death metal track too, compared to the other ones, which feel a little bit more on the prog and experimental side. This is not a bad thing too. I think it's still a great song. I think the instrumentals are fantastic. I think it's got some, I don't want to say catchy lyrics for a death metal song, but you know what I mean. You know, it says its chorus a lot. One funny thing about the song is I have tried analyzing the lyrics. I don't know what the fuck is going on with them. It's just like some Moonspeak. I don't know what the hell's happening. It's some ridiculous. It's some ridiculous nonsense. It's like the guy's like losing his damn mind or something, and he got access to a microphone somehow and wrote lyrics doing that. But yeah, I think the bridge is really solid, and I do think it is a good track to follow up the last two. It feels very different from them, which I can appreciate. Which is also just goes into like an overall thought I have of this album, is that it's a technical death metal album, but I think it does a good job with its general variety just because of its experimentation, and I guess the range of everybody in the band too. Like there are some songs that feel a little bit samey, but even if you get like into like a bit of a rut, you get some shit like Subtle Change that pops up right after, or like, you know, maybe you think Hollow and Death is Real sound kind of samey, and then you get fucking Where Owls Know My Name, and it's just like, you know, big fan of that. I never felt bored listening to this album. I could see if they swap some songs around, maybe get a little bit samey and have some like dry gap for people, even if the songs are still good. But I never experienced that. Anyways, who's next? Tinichi?
Yeah, you said a lot of the stuff I wanted to say, but I don't have that. I don't get that. That last part, I don't feel that. But in this, unfortunately, you said all the stuff I wanted to say. In my notes for lyrics, I have of tranquility within fleshless fields. Question mark, question mark, question mark. What the fuck?
Hey, what is he talking about? What is this guy on about?
What is he smoking? Spawn of radiant rapture and shape. Huh?
Genuinely, I've never spoken about this guy on podcast before, because why the fuck would I? But I've got some absolutely manic homeless friend, and he's writing poems and shit that sound like something like this. Like, I genuinely feels like they had him as a guest writer for this song. It's ridiculous.
I think what's funny is, he says that was coiled and bound, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And he's like, I reflect upon the balance that once shorn, and then it threw me off immediately. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I've never heard that word before, shorn. So those parts were my notes. Oh, and I have at 250, he's fingering that thing, but I don't know what that means anymore.
It really do be like that.
I assume he means the guitar, but I don't. I assume I mean the guitar, but I'm not sure.
Tinichi for them passes on something. Anyways, both Tinichi and I got stat check. Tanner, is it the turkey?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, like, I got an interpretation out of it. I don't know if it's the right one or whatever. I thought it was just like, it was a guy. I mean, the problem is every single one of these songs, I'm like, oh, this is about a guy dying. And so, like, I thought this one is a guy dying and then passing on into this really weird, like, bleak afterlife. Maybe like a purgatory sort of thing, you know? But yeah, I agree. This one, I thought was a bit weaker than the previous two, but still really good. And this is schizophrenic and almost certainly wrong, but there's this meme that, like, metal is just surf music, but with guitar distortion. And listening to the main part of the guitar on this song really made me think of that meme, because I'm like, this feels like surf music, but they put an effect on it, you know?
I can hear that. That's fucking funny.
You say surf music? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like some Beach Boys shit? I don't know what surf music is.
Yeah, like Surfin' USA. It's like, you'd recognize it if I found, like, whatever. There's this, like, specific song that is just, like, generic people are surfing music that you'd probably recognize. I'll see if I can find it.
I want to do the back-to-back now. I'm very curious. Anyways, while he's doing that, I guess I'll go and give my thoughts on Subtle Change in the Forest, or what the fuck is the full name of this dumbass song? Including the Forest of Transition and Dissatisfaction Dance, whatever the fuck any of that means. This song is peak, big fan. This song is certainly a standout, one for its length, and two, just for the sheer variety that's going on inside of it. And I don't even know if they're going for this, and I genuinely just haven't listened to enough, like, breadth of metal, or even, like, just metal throughout the years to maybe even have a valid argument to make on this. But it sounds like they're, like, almost, like, the further you get into the song, like, the more modern the sound is, which I think is interesting. At least from my inexperienced perspective, maybe you guys would agree. The lyrics are really cool in this one, too. It just, you know, it tells just, like, such a vivid story in my mind that it just makes it, like, a very entertaining experience just for that. But also, the instrumentation, the vocal performances on this song are incredible. They're such a standout. I think everything past, like, the third point is fucking insane. Like, it stands out so well to me. The screaming with the blast beats, everything that follows in, like, the last, like, half of the song is ridiculous. The saxophone, the long extended saxophone solo, really, really fucking good. It adds to the atmosphere a ton. And even just, like, the subtle ending of it, too, I think works really well in the favor of it. It's such a varied track. It's very experimental. It's very proggy. I fuck with proggy shit. I fuck with experimental shit. It's a breath of fresh air. Like, I love the last three tracks, and this one I love even more just for, like, the dichotomy it has with the rest of the album.
Yeah, I don't think you're... Yeah. I don't like this one.
If you like that, why not?
The beginning sounds like a WWE wrestler theme song, and it's until you get past that shit that I like. Now I like it. I wish this was 2 songs so I could shit on the first part of it. But unfortunately,
you literally gave Paranoid an 8 out of 10.
But that's a good album. But look, everything later is so fucking good. Like, I like the sax in this. I like the guitar past it. I didn't really get the lyrics. I didn't really get it, but it sounds like magical, like, towards that second part. Like, it sounds really good, like almost like RPG music, like in the background. But in the first part, I just can't get over the fucking WWE guy coming down for WrestleMania fucking rock music. He's got his hair dyed black. Like, I hear it so well. I just don't like it. But the ending is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm not a crazy big fan of the intro part. Like I said, like, after the first third, I think the song's fucking incredible. I don't dislike the first third or anything. I don't think it, like, detracts greatly or anything from the rest of the song. If anything, it just, like, sets up the rest of it and just adds more variety to it. I think it's interesting. But interesting. You did say this was like the gem that is Subtle Change. I assume you were talking about the latter half of it and ignoring the first.
I think the gem is if you if you stop at 145 and cut it out all the way up until 455, you got a fucking 10 out of 10 fucking song. The gem is getting through that part, and you get to the gem that is that fucking end that is really good. Yes, that is what I was saying. You read me like a fucking book.
I didn't mention this either, but I think the chorus is fucking awesome. It's so catchy. Like, can you explain that subtle change? Big fan. Tanner, did you like the first part?
I wasn't huge into this song. I think it's like above average still, but it was definitely one of my least favorite on the album, specifically because it's just so like incohesive. It has so many different parts. Like,
I agree.
When you scan through this song, if you're going in like 30-second increments, they're doing something wildly different every 30 seconds. And so I just don't like how little cohesion the song has, and so
other than that sax part,
it is.
Yeah, other than that sax part, they're constantly on the fucking move with something. Yeah,
I get that. I think that's the reason I like this song so much. So I kind of get it. It's like a love it or hate it kind of thing. There's certainly a through line, like the lyrics and the presentation, I think stay pretty consistent overall, especially with like, you know, the chorus that happens like 3 or 4 times in the track. It's fucking 8 minutes long. It's a lot of time to get through that chorus. But I can definitely understand why you guys wouldn't be super crazy on this one just for that reason. I fuck with it a lot though. I think it adds a lot of variety. And it's just a very cool track. This is also another one that people say, like widely say, is like, this is the best song. I remember like watching a review of like just like a live listen of some guy listening to this album, and like halfway through the song he just like kept saying like over and over, this is the best song of the album, and just kept saying that. And I was like, I get it, man, I get it. It's certainly the most interesting and diverse song, I would say, maybe for the wrong reasons for you guys, but it's definitely a standout if anything. Unlike the next song, that being Terrestria III Wither, this is an instrumental track. It's like very electronic influenced. Tanichi said it best when we were listening to this, like for our very first time. It sounded like some shit that'd be like in the main menu of Tarkov or some FPS game, which I agree. I still like it though. I think it's a good track. I think it's a good break after Subtle Change, because Subtle Change is just so ridiculous. It's like kind of like a little cool down before you get into the latter half of the album, which I can appreciate it just for that reason. I think it's still interesting. I think it's like I like electronic music. This shit's cool just for that reason. I don't need the vocals. Yeah, I don't have a crazy amount to say about this song. I just think it's a good like break in between the rest.
I did say that. He took my bit, but yeah, this sounds like Tarkov intro music. This shit is so Tarkov intro music that I like it. Just because I like Tarkov. It gets you in that mood.
Like, do you like it because you like Tarkov?
Yeah, it gets you in that fucking mood. In my notes, just to be fucking funny, I put this is fucking so Starset. Starset is like jealous they didn't make it first. This is just before My Demons in that fucking Transmissions album. This makes me feel Starset so much, but it's better. Like every time, I picked that fucking album so much. It's so much better that they're like, fuck, we could have done that. And they could have. If they did this, I wouldn't have been angry.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking. This doesn't sound anything like I'd expect from the Starset album. Anyways, Tanner?
Yeah, this one was by far my least favorite song on the album. Like, to the point I was wondering if I should even, count it towards my ratings or whatever. Like I said before, like, this one just kind of feels like, we're transitioning now. This is like just some soundscape to move you on to the next thing. So it just really didn't grab me at all.
Fair enough. Anyways, did Hollow grab any of you guys? Because I think Hollow's a cool track. I think the intro, just like right into the start, goes super hard. I think it's a good pace change too. It definitely feels different than the first half of the album too. It's a good intro into like that last half of it. The chorus constantly got stuck into my head, like the fucking Only Age and Disillusion Remain thing was just like playing in my head on repeat. A lot of these songs, I will say, got stuck in my head, just like various parts of them were just like playing on repeat throughout the last couple of months. I've been listening to this album for a while. I rolled this a bit ago, and it's just been fucking attached to my brain ever since. Of course, it's got a really cool guitar solo before the or after the first chorus happens as well. Whole second half of the album, or the whole second half of the song, is super fucking cool, and it's got some very sad lyrics. I think that fit very well with the message of the story.
In this world as disillusion incarnate, as this place grows smaller every day. In this world, I feel no presence with me. To escape, I'd give it all away. Oh,
yeah, these lyrics are they're fucking sad, dude. It's literally just some guys like, oh my god, can I fucking die? Can this world get on with it already?
Yo, like, he's been watching this world end for years, and he's ready the fuck to go. I just love that part so fucking much.
What else do you like about it?
Dude,
or dislike?
I didn't dislike anything about it. When I listened to this with a friend, she said that this is because when she not listened to it, but looked it up, she was like, I don't like prog metal. But then she was like, this is prog metal, and I like this. But I didn't really know what the fuck prog metal was. This just sounds like I said this when we listened to it the first time. This just sounds like the guitarist like caught a fucking moment and they were like, oh shit, let him go. So if prog metal is just really good guitarists, I need to listen to more of this shit. You need to find more of it.
I'll try my best. I do like some prog metal. I'll pick fucking Dream Theater for you next time.
What I have to say about this song, so I find it's a good rebound from the last two songs I didn't like as much as the first couple ones. I find it interesting that Jackson's saying, oh, it's nice that this sounds so different from the first half. This was actually the point in the album where the shtick of them was starting to wear thin.
No.
I guess Jackson has a more refined palette than I do, but like, you know, I heard this song and I'm like, oh, it's another one where they play really fast.
That's crazy, because after this point, I think this album is like, it doesn't miss. Yeah, fuck.
I think this song is heat. Big fan. It is another very fast and aggressive song, but for a different reason than the other ones. It feels like it's more of a storytelling piece than the rest, which I can appreciate quite a bit. Plus, again, like I said, that intro is very strange. Like, it's very subtle and just goes immediately into some fast-ass aggressive blast beats. This song goes hard. Big fan of Hollow. 2 thumbs up. I'm giving this one a fucking book. I don't know the chess.
I'm giving it a system. Book.
I don't think book's very good, actually.
No, the book is dead in the middle.
I'm giving this one a pretty high compared to book. I don't know what the fuck the range is. I can't remember. I've only done like 2 book reviews.
you want to go for like an excellent or perhaps a near perfect.
There we go. That's why I like Hollow a lot. Hollow is another standout track for me. Anywho, we've got the classic third from the last, Death is Real.
Now let me stop you there.
Okay,
I'm going to take over from this point fucking forward, because you take everything I want to say and I want to say it first now.
That's fucking valid, man. Go for it. I'm stealing your thunder.
This fucking song is fucking incredible. When I first listened to it, it flew over my fucking head. And then the second time I listened to it with my friend, I'm in her ear screaming about how good this shit is and how this shit's going over her head, begging her not to let it go over her head. And then she texts me, I listened to it again and it is really fucking good. Dude, the way this album sort of blends like the instrumental and like the way the instrumental seems like it's a fucking story in and of it fucking self. And then you pack those fucking lyrics onto it. They're a little schizophrenic, but I think they're like an aimed schizophrenic, like a schizophrenic with his eye on the ball almost. Like he's given a very clear message about like how this world is like not, I've lost faith there's only ugliness here. Only death can find me. Like he's like this. I don't know. Compared to what it was in the beginning, when I felt that like beautiful, like, oh, this feels nice. Even at a point, I don't think I got to mention it, but during, I think it was during Subtle Change, the sax reminded me of like, I don't know, being alive. Like it felt like life. And in my head, I was like, oh, this is like, he's feeling like what it meant to be immortal. Like, cause he's immortal at this point. Like, and he's like expressing that through the sax. But then he's like, oh, fuck, I'm immortal and this shit sucks. And this part, and it makes hearing that part on my third listen so much, like it brings such fucking despair listening to it now that it makes fucking Subtle Change so good. Like, I love this shit. I love this fucking album. That's it. I'll stop there.
Hell yeah. I think the song's badass as hell. It's another, I'd say this about all of them, so I'm not even gonna fucking go into that. I think the instrumentation on this is absolutely fantastic. Again, this was a very storytelling focused one for me. That's a big reason I liked it a lot too. I know, like Nietzsche kind of talked about, even on his first listen, he sounded like he wasn't crazy about it, but like he was picking apart pieces of the lyrics, and I think that really just, expresses how well the song gets its point across, just because there's so much to grasp on even from a surface level. The instrumentation is fucking ridiculous, as you'd expect it to. It's got a really interesting, fun, psychedelic bridge in the middle part of it too. It's got a really cool guitar solo. It's just another really solid fucking track. It's very atmospheric at times, and then I love that ending part too. I think it really feels like it feels like it's like a cap off of the guy's story almost. I think it just works really well. There's just another banger.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this one has the best guitar solo of the whole album.
Yeah, the guy goes fucking nuts on it.
He goes nuts on all of these.
Yeah, pretty good song.
The next one is Where Owls Know My Name, track number 9. And this is, to me, the best track of the fucking album. And I understand why this is the intro track, because it's that mix of the,
title track?
Yeah. I'm sorry. We've been
we
recording
don't
for
want
an
people
hour.
calling you a retard down in the comments.
The whole time when he said
with his
that.
gay ass axe as his background that I haven't mentioned at all. Take that goofy shit the fuck off. Listen,
no one knows
it's
what
fun.
you're talking about. You're imagining this.
Yeah.
You're like some kind of a tree person rotting away and seeing visions of things that aren't actually there.
And I'm in this place where only owls know my name.
Who? Boo. Get off the stage.
Oh fuck, I lost my complete fucking point at that bit because I actually liked it and I was trying not to laugh to be an asshole. Yes, this is Where Owls Know My Name. I think it's the best one because it gives you that story. It gives you that story and it gives you that, like, the instrumentation, and it gives you the smooth vocals and that fucking scream. The two screams and the overall screaming in the track is so fucking good. And then that mixed with the goofy ass fucking video, the sax is fucking incredible. I really like this song. If Subtle Change had that part removed, Subtle Change would be my favorite. This is Subtle Change with the part removed. That's why this is my favorite, if that makes sense.
What's really funny is like the length of the songs actually kind of align pretty closely with that expectation as well. Like if you cut off like the first like minute 45 or whatever you didn't like of Subtle Change, it'd be pretty close to how long the
and they're really similar. I agree with Tanner on that point. They are pretty similar. It's just I think the bad parts are bad in my head, which is the problem. And the good parts are really good.
I feel like they're similar in the sense of like these are both easily the most progressive sounding tracks on the album.
Yeah,
they're definitely much more experimental. Where Owls Know My Name, I think, is a really solid, like, Tanichi said intro track, but, like, genuinely, when I say this is a good intro track in the sense of, like, if you want somebody to, like, listen to this album fully, this is the song you show them. Like, this is the intro that you would, you know, feed them to make them want to experience the rest of it.
Absolutely,
And
I agree.
I think it does a really good job for that. It's a little bit more subtle than a lot of the other songs, especially if you like show the video. Like if the first experience somebody has with this song is that goofy ass fucking video, like, you know, the vibe might be a little different than their expectation going into the rest of it.
Yeah, I never thought about that until you just said that. If I showed someone that video and then they got a face full of Death is Real, they definitely hit me up like, yo.
What the fuck is this? Or even just like they get to the Silent Life and just that insane intro. So I feel like, okay, this is not what I was expecting at all. But yeah, this is a very unique sounding song to me. This is the first one I heard. This is what got me into the album. I don't even know where I found it from. I think it just like randomly popped up when I was listening to just like an auto-generated metal playlist on YouTube, and I immediately was just like, this is a very interesting sound. Especially when I got to that first saxophone section. Every time I've seen so many people react to this song, and every time it gets to the sax, everyone has the exact same reaction where they look a little confused when it first kicks in, and then when it gets a much more prominent sound a little bit later in the solo, everyone's like, wait, is that a saxophone? I had the exact same fucking reaction. Tanichi had the exact same fucking reaction. We all have the exact same fucking reaction. It's fantastic. It's so funny. Big fan. It's just a really good song. This is a very psychedelic feeling one as well. It's got another couple of really, really solid saxophone sections, like I had mentioned. There's also something I forgot to say about Death is Real, so I'm going to insert it in here now. Whoops! It's something this song does too, where they have like the back and forth with like the screaming, the growls. Death is Real does a really good fucking job of that too. And this one has it as well, but to a lesser degree. This one also is a rare song on the album where it actually has like more of a focus on cleans, which I think is another reason why it is like a good palette. I'm not gonna say palette cleanser, but you know, like intro track palette cleanser for the rest of it too. It's just such a unique feeling song, like almost to the point where I've listened to this album so many fucking times. I mean, this was, I probably would say, my favorite of the songs for a while. But like to this point now, it genuinely feels like out of place for me almost, because I've listened to it so many times, and the rest feel very consistent. And then I get to this one, and it just almost feels like a single that was put into the rest of it. But obviously, like the lyrics thematically make a shit ton of sense. It fits in very well with the story. It's the title track. Who knew? Yeah, it's just another fantastic song. This is also another point I forgot to mention that Old Nothing does as well. I don't like fade outs. Not a fan of fade outs in music. I think it's kind of lazy. It's like, I don't know how to end my song, so I'm just gonna have a fucking fade out. I don't like Old Nothing's way of fading out. I think it is like the epitome of like a lazy fade out. It feels like they could find a way of closing it out. Maybe with like a stark ending or something, but they just don't do it. This one I like. This one feels like they're just doing a fucking jam session at the end of it, and it just feels like a closing piece. I don't dislike the fade out on this one at all. I think it works. I think it maybe work a little better if it was like the closing track of the album, like it fades out and then you're done with it. But also I don't agree with that, because I think the next song we're going to talk about is also a really, really good ending of the album track. Anyways, Tanner, what are your thoughts about the title track?
I like this one quite a bit as well, more than the previous two songs even. It's very, very close to being on par with The Silent Life in a Home for me. I think it has a touch less sauce than those songs, so it ends up a little bit below them personally.
The final. Speaking of fucking fading out, this I can't believe he said that. What?
It's to each their own, man. We're three people with three different opinions.
Jackson, do it.
Me?
Yeah. Go.
Capricorn / Agoratopia. Capricorn / Agoratopia. Whatever the fuck that means. I mean, it's like Cancer / Moonspeak. Presumably there's some, like, you know, astrology thing going on here. I don't know what the fuck the theme of that really means. This song's very long. It has, like, 2/3 of it feels pretty conventional for the rest of the album. And then the last third is very interesting, which is why, like that, it's much more subtle. It's like, I don't know how to describe the sound of it, to be honest. You guys know what I mean, though. It's a very different sound from the rest of the album, in a good way, I think. I think it does a really good job of, like, it feels like a conclusion to the guy's story that they've been telling. Like, it feels like this is a song that, like, this is the shit he's thinking of as he's watching the world, like, finally end, and he knows his time is done. And I think it works really well for that reason. I like this track a lot. It maybe sounds like I was a negative on it, but I think this track's fucking cool. It's got some really cool guitar solos. It's got some really emotional lyrics. It's got some really memorable riffs and just general vocal lines. Like the fucking, I constantly say this because I think it's funny, but they say it's a pale facade so many times in this song. It's just like stuck in my head, especially like the delivery. To the point, like initially I was like a little annoyed by them saying the same thing so many fucking times in this song, but it's like looped around to me liking it now. And I think this is another like absolute banger for me. I'm a big fan of this one.
I agree. Damn it. I should have talked. He said what I was gonna say again. What he didn't say was, oh no, you mentioned you didn't like tracks fading out. What did you think about the end here? Because the sax didn't really fade out. It sounds more like it got cut. Like The Sopranos at the end kind of does this as well with its fade to black. Like,
well, when I say I don't like fade outs, I'm specifically talking about where like it's still like the song playing, but like they just like lower the volume over time. This one is like, it's not a fade out. It's just like there's like one instrument that's just like holding a long note that gets quieter over time. That's like a valid ending to me. That's not a fade out.
I was about to say that. I think this ending is so fucking cool. Like the overall album being about death, and then that instant cut that is sort of death, that instant silence is really fucking creative. When I heard it the second time, like in my head, I was like, oh, they didn't mean to do that. But then I heard it the third time and I was like, they absolutely meant to fucking do that. Oh my God, that's incredible. And it just put a perfect bow on this fucking album, I think. Yeah. Tanner.
Yeah, I thought the song was pretty neat. It actually, for being one of the slower songs on the album, it actually managed to keep my attention, and I liked it quite a bit. Pretty neat.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, do we have any other final thoughts? Because I do, but you guys?
No.
What? Boo! This guy that said shit! This is a joke.
I forgot what I was about to say.
It'd be like that.
Shit.
Dude, it's fine. You've been yapping a lot.
I have been, haven't I? My bad.
No, you're good. I love that shit. Big fan of the Yapathon. I think this is going to pretty handily be our longest review, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm excited for nobody to watch this review as well. That's going to be badass. It's going to be another like 10 view review. Anyways, this is going to sound fucking manic because I genuinely I want this song on vinyl. I don't like vinyl, but I just want to genuinely support these people because I think this album is so fucking cool and I've listened to it so many times. Like, I just want to support them. I want to buy some merch and shit. And so I did that. I didn't buy like a vinyl or something. I probably will at some point if I can find one because they're not selling it anymore. Or like merch of the album. But I bought it on fucking iTunes. I bought this album on iTunes because it was just like an accessible way of me, supporting them. I'm sure half of that went to fucking Apple. But I gave them $5 at the end of the day. And now I own the song, or I own this album on iTunes. This is the only album I have ever purchased. And this is the only album that I've liked enough to compel me to want to financially support these fucking dudes. Which leads into the state of the band. You guys might be like, these guys kind of kick ass. This album was pretty fucking sweet. I want to hear more of them. Well,
they all killed themselves.
Yeah, every one of them's fucking dead. They're all in my closet right now. But the previous album to this one is a pretty similar vibe, but a little bit less proggy, I would say. It's more conventional death metal, so maybe you guys will like it for that reason. The next album is insanely proggy, insanely experimental. I think it's cool. I listened to that one a few times. It's got some bangers in it, but it's a very different style from this one. And unfortunately, after the next album, they kicked off their main growler, and the screamer / bassist took over as the main vocalist for the band. And honestly, I don't think it's worked that much for them, unfortunately. I've listened to their most recent album, which is literally just named Rivers of Nihil. It's a fucking self-titled album. And I think there's some good songs in it, but I think the hit rate is definitely lower. This is certainly the peak of them for me. I will probably pick their next album, The Work, at some point because I think it's interesting. I don't think we're going to like it as much, but I think it is an interesting album to analyze and talk about at the very least, which will be fun. I'm not going to do that anytime soon, but it is what it is. But yeah.
I wanted to say, I did have, you said, does anyone want to say anything? If someone does fucking watch this, it says Sarah Thomas is the feature on Subtle Change. Is that Sarah Thomas, the fucking NBA or the football coach, Sarah Thomas? What the fuck? Is the is the football coach Sarah Thomas? What? That's the only Sarah Thomas I know. And then when I Googled it, of course, the only Sarah Thomas that comes the fuck up is the football the football referee. So, is the football referee also on this album?
You know the names of random football referees?
Yes. I know the names of several fucking NBA referees as well. They piss me the fuck off.
That's crazy.
They're on his naughty list. Anywho, I guess I'll kick us off here. If we've got nothing else to talk about, I think we've spoken a lot about this album. Seems we're all pretty positive on it. I assume I'm still going to have the highest rank of the rest of you guys. I don't know who the fuck between you guys has the lower rank, so I'm going to say let's pass it to Tanner. What did you rate this album?
Dude, I gave this one a 8 out of 10.
Tanichi?
Man, I gave it a 10.
Dude, that's fucking based, because I also gave it a 10. I will say, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I know it hasn't been that long since I picked an album that I gave a 10 out of 10. I'm assuming this is not going to be a consistent thing going forward. I'm going to pick an album that I think is this incredible. But I genuinely don't have any complaints about this. And if I do have any complaints, there are some songs that are just so incredibly over-exemplary for me that it just immediately overwrites those complaints. Like I wrote down in my notes that I'd give this an 11 out of 10 if I could. This is probably my favorite album of all time, I would say right now. It stands out of my head so much. It's the one I've listened to consistently for months now. It is, I love everything about this album. I think they do an incredible job. I'm sad of the current state of the band. I think the Growler added a lot, and I'm sad to see him go. And I'll probably pick some other stuff from them again. But yeah, it's a banger. Anyways, this should be unsurprising to you guys, but this is in fact the highest rated album that we've listened to now at a 9.3 out of 10. A whole point higher than Thriller, which I think is funny. I think it's going to be a while till we get an album that ranks this high, but I am excited for the day that it happens. It is an album that can surpass Where Owls Know My Name.
Will we all have to give it a 10, or Tanner will have to give it a 9? And we'll have to give it a 10.
To be two 10s and a 9 to pass it, or 3 10s.
Okay.
If all of us listen to an album and give it a 10 out of 10, that'd be fucking awesome. I am so excited for that to happen at some point. I don't know if it ever will, given I think we all have very different styles of music we're into, but
it's gonna be something metal, I think.
I think that's probably the most likely outcome. Tanner's gonna pick some the best Dragon Force album or some shit. It's gonna get us all. I don't know. I don't know if I'd give Dragon Force shit a 10 out of 10, but I think some of their stuff's good. Anywho, banger album. Tanner, are you also going to pick a banger album, or are you gonna pick Andrew WK's next album after I Get Wet?
I am deciding to give us some whiplash by going in a very different musical direction. We're going to be reviewing our first comedy album.
Oh, interesting.
With the 2011 album NSFW by Ninja Sex Party.
Oh.
Bye.
If you guys also want to listen to our review of NSFW by Ninja Sex Party, tune in next time. Whatever that review comes out, it takes us a while sometimes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.